Welcome back to another Siege Guide where we will be covering every single map in the Season 7 update, and I've included timestamps in the video, so if you really want to watch a certain part of the video, you can do that right now, but nevertheless, let's hop right into the video. So first of all, let's start off with some general knowledge for Siege. So there are 7 maps in Siege currently in the game right now, which are Nuts and Bolts, Assembly Attack, Factory Rush, Power Washer, Rust Belt, Bot Drop, and some assembly required. And in each of these maps, there is a set bolt spawn location, which the bolts will spawn exactly at that location, and they will follow a certain pattern, which will repeat every time the cycle finishes. And I will be using that to show you exactly how you play, because the bolt spawns play a big role in how a siege map is played, because they determine where the concentration of the players are. And second of all, the viable brawlers that are used in siege can be broken down into 4 main categories, and those 4 categories are, first of all, control brawlers, second, tanks, third, throwers, and fourth, long range brawlers, or I'm just going to refer them as range in this case. And before we talk about every single siege map individually and their best brawlers, I'd like to talk about the rotation for each of the siege maps. So on Monday you have Nuts and Bolts, on Tuesday you have Assembly Attack, on Wednesdays you have Factory Rush, on Thursdays you have Power Washer, on Friday you have Rust Belt, on Saturday you have Bot Drop, and finally on Sunday you have some assembly required. And also, the map won't stay on for the entire day, it will rotate every 2 hours along with Heist and Hot Zone. So now we're going to cover in detail all of the maps. So first of all, we have Nuts and Bolts. Now what you can see about this map is that it is very enclosed, and yes, I've put the numbers. Those numbers mean the bolt spawn locations. So 1 being the first and 9 or whatever number being the highest is the last, and then the cycle will repeat. So for this map, you have Lou, Colette, Sandy, Carl, Primo, Dinah, Pam, Amber, Frank, BB, Ems, and Barley as the best brawlers. And I have included Buzz as well, but since he's good in every single map, I just don't feel like including him in my graphics, because otherwise that would be a space of a brawler wasted that could have potentially be used for another one. And for this map, you just want to control your rectangles, you want to assert control in your lane, and try to collect the bolts as good as you can, because the bolts are going to determine if you're going to get the robot. And if you get the first robot, it's going to go really well, because you can grab the second and the third bot, and if you're confident that you can defend the second bot and you can get the third bot, let the enemy get the second bot, so that when you pressure for the third bot, the bot is going to be much stronger than if you had let them not get the second bot. Up next, we have Assembly Attack. Now the first thing that you will notice about this map is that it has no bushes at all whatsoever, so brawlers that have ability related with bushes are especially hindered, for example Sprout and Rosa. However, Rosa is still very strong on this map, along with Ruffs, Carl, Primo, Stu, BB, Lou, Ems, Jean, Max, Squeak, and Belle. Now, how you want to play on this map is that you just want to divide yourself into 3 lanes. And also, another thing to consider is that the bolt spawns aren't very regular, they're in fact irregular, and they spawn really next to walls, and the bolt spawns aren't exactly symmetrical. You will notice some differences here and there. So yeah, that's one thing to consider. And the other thing is that the map is actually somewhat open as well as somewhat closed, so there's a huge variety of brawlers. You just want to control your zones or whatever spots you have. This way you can assemble the maximum bot. Next of all, we have Factory Rush. Now the best brawlers here are going to be Belle, Frank, Lou, Carl, Jean, Crow, Pam, Amber, Stu, 8-Bit, Ruffs, and Squeak. And the first thing that you'll notice on this map is that yes, it's very open, but second of all, it is a very efficient map to dive because there are a lot of bushes to sneak around in and dive, and the map is very wide open, so you want to take note of that, although there's very enough cover. And especially important tip for this map is that you want to break the walls in front of the Ike as I did right here, so that the bot may travel less distance and the sharpshooters can also target the Ike from a safe area so that they can retreat afterwards when the bot is dead. Then we have Power Washer. Now the best brawlers on this map will be Bell, Bull, Primo, Stu, Ams, Lou, Squeak, Pam, Ruffs, Terra, Surge, and Gale. Now this map has somewhat of an irregular shape and also some irregular bolt spawn, although the first bolt spawns in the mid, so you don't have to worry about that. The jump pad takes you close to the right side of the mid, although it's very protected as well. But you just want to hold your lane, you can use your walls and the grass to your advantage to help you win those 1v1s. That's probably the most important tip that I would say on this map. The wall breakers don't really matter that much on this map because there aren't too many walls in front of the Ike, and the walls can be used for protection
and offense.
And you can also do that with the enemy side of the walls. After that we have Rust Belt. So this map is very irregular as it uses the new spikes tiles in the map maker. The best brawlers here are going to be Gale, Frank, Lou, Primo, Stu, Ams, Jean, Barley, Dinah, Belle, BB, and Penny. Now one thing to notice is that Penny can place your turret in that little wall surrounded by the spikes, which is very hard to defeat if you manage to get a turret. And also the mid is very enclosed, which makes it that so that if you want to have a comeback, it would be very difficult unless you break the walls, because the people can just push you straight out of the mid with ease. Up next we have Bot Drop. So the best brawlers here are going to be Crow, Poco, Bell, Squeak, Pam, B, Amber, 8-Bit, Jean, Max, Mr. P, and Penny. The first thing that you'll notice is that the map is, yes, very wide open, but also has a decent amount of grass at the sides. Now the thing is that if you use the grass, people will usually know when you sneak in, so it's not as efficient as in some of the other maps, because they will know if you want to dive, or they will know if you just go into the center. And honestly, this map is somewhat spawn trappy as it has a lot of long range, and if you establish a good control, I mean, the game is pretty much over. There's no apparent comeback here, so you just want to hold your lane, get that first control, or hope for the enemy team to just throw so that you can get the advantage. And finally, we have some assembly required. I covered this guide before, but it's quite outdated and I want to renew it. So the best brawlers here are going to be Carl, Frank, Daryl, Spike, Dinah, Nita, Primo, Bull, BB, Barley, Ems, and Jackie. The reason why Lou isn't as efficient here is that there are no walls for him to actually cooperate well with his super to stop the siege bot. Although there are a few walls, but those walls aren't strong enough for him to hold the boss down. And what you want to do on this map is that you want to split into 3 lanes. Always you want to hold down your lanes and take out the siege bot as soon as possible. So you have tanks, you have throwers, you have all sorts of brawlers that you can use to your advantage. And a quick tip for this map is that it doesn't really have as much cover as you think it might have, because once you break the walls, there's pretty much no cover left. It's very open, so you can manipulate wall breakers to your advantage on this map. It is a very good map to do that. And now we have the best team comps for Siege. So in general, these are the best team comps. I don't really have any map specific because that would take way too long. For comps that work in every single Siege map, we have triple control, triple tank, 1 thrower plus 1 tank plus 1 control brawler, and 1 thrower plus double control brawlers. And for map specific comps, you have tank plus double control, double tanks plus thrower, double tanks plus control, long range brawler plus double control, and double range plus control. So guys, that is pretty much it for this Siege guide. If you want me to cover any other game modes, let me know down below. And for some game modes that have 14 maps such as Jump Grab and Brawl Ball, I will do a 2-part series for that. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you later in another video. Peace out.